I'm Ryan France, Executive Director of Brand Performance at Kantar.
I'm Brian Walker-Catchpole. I'm a Senior Consultant in the Brand Communications practice area. Segmentation, what's wrong with it?
There are things that are wrong with segmentation.
There are things that are wrong with segmentation.
You know that I tend to go on about this a bit, Brian,
that
sometimes they're not fit for purpose.
Right.
A good example that I used to explain that was a brief we got from an auto client a few years ago where they described segmentations as notoriously problematic and they had a few pain points which I could relate to. One of them that they spelt out was that the segmentation that they had lived within the ad agency and it helped with their advertising planning, but the media agency was unable to action it by mirroring against it. In terms of product planning, what products to make, what products to import, segmentation had no bearing on that. Didn't help them with business strategy in any way because it wasn't fit for those different purposes. So they were after a segmentation solution that would be fit for those different purposes. The trouble with that is if you try and do a segmentation that works for everybody, you end up with something often that works for nobody. There are other ways to get around that. One way that we've been toying with, as you know, is to, rather than have one segmentation that's not fit for any purpose, is to do multiple segmentations that addresses the needs of each different group and then do that in a way that those things talk to each other in an integrated solution.
Awesome. So we've done that recently in the university sector. Do you want to talk us a little bit about what we did in that particular situation in terms of understanding how these different segmentations can work and what questions they can answer for our clients?
Yeah, so what we created for this particular case, Brian, was the compass. Compass is a good way to name this thing as it's used for navigation and how to navigate the different questions that they had. So this is the compass here. At the north point, we have the who. And this is basically, the people you can see walking down the street. The demography, how old are they? Verticals means, in the case of universities, what is it that they want to study? Some people want to study engineering, others arts, etc. The what is the tangible choice drivers. They need to decide which university to go to, which tangible factors affect that choice. Things like costs and availability of courses and campus experiences and stuff. The why is the equivalent of say, the badge on a car, the Mercedes or the Holden or whatever. It talks to something about, or tells something to others about who you are and what you value. So a university brand is an element here. How do we manage the intangibles of a brand to affect decisions? And in this particular case, the how was not a segmentation, but rather a touch point study to say which touch points are influential, which ones are influential for the who's that we're talking to, and are the different touch points we're using aligned to the emotive tone we're taking with our brand. Okay. So this is the compass we used in that case to navigate the different questions of the different stakeholders.
Can you talk a little bit about how this particular university organisation has used their segmentation or are using those segmentation or those different elements of the segmentation?
In terms of the who, that was creating basically a sized business case. Are there enough heads for us to target in this region in that course type? So basically sizing the market in that way. The what was, we created 5 different segments in terms of the way people make decisions. It was obvious for this particular client which ones were going to be right. So if they say we're focusing on their needs and not those needs, then they can start to really fine tune the messaging that they have, the way they design their courses and the experiences that their university offers. In terms of the why, this is about brand governance. So we're helping them now with brand governance guidelines. There'll be a advertising agency pitch, and so they will be assessed on the basis of how well they can deliver against that emotive idea for the brand.